Have you ever wondered what the most polluted places on our planet look like? Today, we're taking a journey to 20 locations that are facing severe environmental challenges. It's a tough topic, but understanding the problem is the first step toward finding a solution. So, let's get started. Our first stop is Linfen, China. Once known as the coal capital, this city has battled severe air pollution for decades. Thick smog often blankets the city, a direct result of coal burning and industrial emissions. While the situation has improved in recent years thanks to government initiatives, it remains a stark reminder of the cost of rapid industrialization. Next, we travel to Hazaribagh, Bangladesh. This area is the heart of Dhaka's leather industry. For years, numerous tanneries discharged untreated waste, full of chromium and other toxic chemicals, directly into the local river. The water turned black, the soil became contaminated, and the health of local residents was put at serious risk. Efforts are now underway to relocate the tanneries and clean up the area. Now, let's head to Norilsk, Russia. This industrial city in Siberia is one of the world's largest sources of sulfur dioxide pollution, primarily from its massive nickel and metal smelting operations. The pollution has created a dead zone of scorched earth and dead forests around the city, and the local rivers run red with industrial runoff. It's a landscape straight out of a post-apocalyptic film. Over in Africa, we find Agbogbloshie in Accra, Ghana. This is one of the world's largest electronic waste dump sites. Old computers, phones, and refrigerators from all over the globe end up here. To extract valuable metals like copper and aluminum, workers, often young, burn the plastic casings, releasing toxic fumes and heavy metals like lead and mercury into the air, soil, and water. Let's cross the Atlantic to La Oroya, Peru. Nestled in the Andes Mountains, this mining town has a long history of lead, copper, and zinc smelting. For nearly a century, a smelter released heavy metals into the environment, leading to dangerously high levels of lead in the blood of local children. The plant has faced closures and operational changes, but the legacy of pollution remains a major health concern. Back to Asia, we visit Vapi, India. Located in the Golden Corridor of industrial estates, Vapi is a hub for chemical and industrial production. For a long time, industrial waste was discharged with little to no treatment, severely contaminating the local groundwater and the Damanganga River. The water became acidic and filled with heavy metals, making it unsafe for any use. Now for a place you might not expect, the Great Pacific Garbage Patch. This isn't a city, but a massive accumulation of plastic debris in the North Pacific Ocean. It's a swirling vortex of microplastics and larger items, posing a huge threat to marine life. Birds, turtles, and fish mistake the plastic for food, with tragic consequences. It's a global problem created by all of us. Let's go to Chernobyl, Ukraine. The 1986 nuclear disaster released massive amounts of radioactive material, contaminating a huge area. The exclusion zone around the former power plant is still one of the most radioactive places on Earth. While nature is slowly reclaiming the abandoned city of Pripyat, the invisible danger of radiation will persist for thousands of years. Next, we explore the Citarum River in Indonesia. Once a source of life for millions, it's now often called the world's most polluted river. Hundreds of factories line its banks, dumping untreated industrial chemicals and waste directly into the water. Household garbage also chokes the river, creating a floating carpet of trash. It's a crisis that affects millions who depend on it for water. Now to Kabwe, Zambia. Decades of lead mining and smelting without proper regulation have left a devastating legacy. The soil is so contaminated with lead that children are exposed just by playing outside. Lead poisoning has caused severe health issues, particularly affecting the neurological development of the city's youth. It's a heartbreaking example of historical pollution's lasting impact. Let's return to Russia, to Dzержinsk. During the Cold War, this city was a major center for chemical weapons production. Improper disposal of chemical waste, including highly toxic substances like sarin and dioxins, has created what some call chemical time bombs. The groundwater is severely contaminated, and the city has one of the highest mortality rates in the country. Now to Matanza-Riachuelo River Basin in Argentina. This river, which flows through Buenos Aires, is a repository for industrial waste from the many factories and tanneries along its banks. The water is tainted with heavy metals and volatile organic compounds, creating a foul smell and posing serious health risks to the communities living nearby. Another spot is Tianying, China, a major center for lead production. Similar to Kabwe, small-scale and poorly regulated operations have led to extreme lead contamination in the air and soil. The dust in the streets and fields carries this toxic metal, affecting the food supply and the health of the local population. Let's visit Sukinda, India. This valley holds one of the largest open-cast chromite ore mines in the world. Mining waste, containing hexavalent chromium, has leached into the water supply. This carcinogen has contaminated drinking water for hundreds of thousands of people, leading to a range of serious health problems. In the Niger Delta, Nigeria, decades of oil extraction have led to widespread environmental devastation. Frequent oil spills from pipelines contaminate farmland and fishing grounds, destroying the livelihoods of local communities. The practice of gas flaring also releases greenhouse gases and pollutants into the atmosphere, contributing to acid rain and respiratory problems. We move on to Mailu-Su, Kyrgyzstan. This former Soviet uranium mining town is a ticking time bomb. Huge amounts of radioactive mining waste were left in unstable dump sites on hillsides above the town. The risk of landslides or earthquakes releasing this toxic material into the river system is a constant and terrifying threat to the entire Fergana Valley. Now, let's look at the cancer villages of China. This isn't one place, but a term for numerous villages, often situated along polluted rivers or near industrial parks. In these areas, cancer rates are alarmingly high, a tragic consequence of exposure to contaminated water and air from unregulated industrial pollution. Back in America, we have the Gowanus Canal in Brooklyn, New York. A former industrial hub, the canal is a soup of toxic waste from old gas plants, mills and tanneries. The sediment at the bottom contains a cocktail of coal tar, heavy metals and other pollutants. It's now a Superfund site, undergoing a massive and complex cleanup effort. Next is Sumgait, Azerbaijan. Another relic of the Soviet industrial era, Sumgait was a center for chemical and industrial production. The legacy is widespread contamination with heavy metals and industrial chemicals. The Caspian Sea shoreline near the city is polluted, and the health of former factory workers and residents remains a serious concern. Finally, we have Ranipet, India. This town was home to a large tannery and chemical company that produced chromium salts. Tons of solid waste containing hexavalent chromium were left piled in the open, exposed to the elements. This toxic material has seeped into the groundwater, contaminating the drinking water for the surrounding area and creating a long-term public health crisis. Looking at these 20 places is sobering, but it's not meant to leave us feeling hopeless. In many of these locations, clean-up efforts are underway and awareness is growing. These stories highlight the critical importance of sustainable practices, corporate responsibility, and strong environmental regulations. They remind us that our planet's health is fragile and directly linked to our own well-being. By learning from these mistakes, we can all work toward a cleaner, safer future for everyone. Thank you so much for joining me on this important journey. If you found this video informative, please give it a thumbs up. And don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss our future content. See you next time.